Hello and welcome. Well, today we're going to talk about the afterlife. I've received quite a few questions in my inbox, and I've been away pretty busy for the last couple of months, and unfortunately I haven't been able to make a video for quite some time and up until today. So today I went back and had a look through my inbox. There are lots of topics that I could choose from, but one question that keeps popping up, maybe because somebody else made a video on it recently, is about the afterlife. And I'm going to answer several questions about my opinion of it and my experiences with the divine, you might say, in relating to the afterlife and what the physical is all about. Okay, so why are we born? Is one of the questions, for all of it just to disappear upon death. So a lot of people have been asking questions like, what is the point of life if we go through so much suffering when a loved one passes away? And some people have been obviously losing sleep over it. They can't wrap their head around it. Of course, it's pretty difficult to wrap your head around something like this when it comes to the non-physical. It's things that we cannot see, the metaphysical, the magical, the spiritual, because we live in our physical lives and we have to put up with our mind, our brain, this mud-like substance, which is very limiting, which is the mind. And this is one of the reasons why it's very important and beneficial to get on the path of the spiritual and the magical, because we can actually gain these answers over time, and we can drop the veils that are constantly being applied upon us, and we can actually open our way through experience. And through experience, not so much through talking or reasoning of the mind, but through experience that we actually gain these answers. I'm going to share some of these through what I have experienced in my magical and spiritual life, and I hope it may help you gain some more clarity. So, why are we born if it all disappears upon death? What is the point? I mean, it's all just gone, right? Well, most of you know that that's not exactly correct. It's correct in the sense that, yes, the physical is born, and in the physical decays. It's a cycle. It's a timing. Everything goes through a cycle of being born, being new, and then decaying. And there's a reason for that. I'm going to get to it in a minute. Now, death does affect us, right? When it happens, we feel lost, and those left behind feel lost that their loved one goes. But one of the things that I learnt from a very young age, when I was actually 6 years old, I suffered from peritonitis. That is a condition where the appendix bursts. And I was going through the initial symptom phases of my appendix going bad. And I went to the doctor. Of course, my mum took me there. And this Indian doctor, unfortunately, he was not very good, in New Zealand, and he just saw me as a whinging, moaning kid, which wasn't in my nature, because I never was a whinging, moaning kid. I only complained when there was real pain, but I was 6 years old, pretty young, and he kept misdiagnosing the symptoms. He said, there's nothing wrong here, there's no problem, you're just a whinging kid, go home. Anyway, I got to a point where several weeks later, after several visits, he kept scoffing at me and telling us to go home, stop wasting his time. It was all on my head that I started projectile vomiting. The appendix burst. Anyway, I got taken to the hospital, and luckily at this hospital there was a very good general surgeon from the UK visiting. He was a leader in his field, and he diagnosed me on the spot as having peritonitis. Anyway, long story short, he operated. I needed 3 operations actually, and I experienced out-of-the-body travel. I had an out-of-the-body experience. And I won't get into it too deeply because I don't want to make this the focus of this video. I don't want to make my experience the focus of it. But I did experience many things, which I will elaborate maybe if you're interested in a later video. So I do know that there is life after death. It's not just in the mind. There are many things that occurred, and my experience was actually recorded afterwards when I woke up, and I explained what I saw, what I heard, what I experienced, and the nurse and the doctors actually got quite shocked by it. Anyway, long story short, so from that was the beginning of my ability to astral travel. That's what I'm trying to get at. That's when I started astral traveling, and I continued astral traveling regularly, almost nightly, from the age of 6 until the age of 12. Then after that, I started losing the ability, and I'll get into why later on. Through these experiences, I saw many things, and I met, you might say, many entities, many so-called relatives, ancestors, life forms, all kinds of things. One of the first things, because I was also curious over time, was what was all this about? Okay, and what I got shown and what I got through experience, what I learned was that it's very difficult to put into words, but if I give you an analogy, that life and lives are like a soccer game, a soccer match, where you are a team. Why do we have only one life when we're here and then we die? Well, because it's like a soccer match. You get 90 minutes. So 90 minutes, a lifetime is the equivalent of this 90 minutes. And we get 90 minutes to either win, draw, or lose. Okay? So life is like a soccer game. It has 90 minutes, and in the end, the team that makes more vital mistakes ends up losing that game. But it's not the end. Or draws, gets some points, but not many. Or loses, gets no points at all. And in this game of life, you might say, or lives, we get many lives. We play in a league, and it's only until we have gone through the cycle of lives. There are many religions that believe it's 99,000, some less or some more lives, all kinds of lives, and we can go up and down, that our accumulated score gets drawn up, and we get our reward or our so-called punishments until we rank in this kind of league. And it continues through that. And why is that? Because we are energetic beings. Energy cannot be destroyed. It can be reshaped, and we are energy. So when we die, the physical, our shell drops, our identity drops, because who we are now is not the real us. We are given the name, and we are given an identity. We are shaped, and then through that, we have to try and find our way back to the spiritual. And this is why we have to try and reconnect with that inner voice, the higher self, to get back with our life purpose. Our life purpose is to try and create as many positive experiences as we can, because these experiences help us grow energetically. They also help the original source, we can call God, or the God force, who also grows as well, because this energy is a creative energy when we do something positive, and the negative is a destructive. It takes something away. And we are given choices as well. We are given a certain amount of autonomy in each lifetime, whether we pay back. There is a karmic debt, but not exactly in line with what religions are saying, but it's pretty close. There is a karmic debt, and there are various forms. Some of this karmic debt we can pay back when we choose by selecting to come back on Earth, and some of this karmic debt is decided for us automatically, whether we actually get a human life or we go down the ladder and we have to make our way back. But anyway, it's like a league, and this goes on for a long time. And the rewards are that we, in the end, we're contributing to the growth of the source, the origin, which we are a part of, because we are like raindrops. The origin of the source realized that just being the one is like nothing, and decided to split itself or part of itself into billions upon trillions, I should say, of little raindrops. And by doing that, each little raindrop becomes, to a certain extent, autonomous. As I know it's pretty hard to wrap your head around it. And through this autonomy, each raindrop, which is us, We can land in different ways, and we can become big puddles, small puddles, or whatever. I'm trying to find an analogy because it's pretty difficult to explain. But we are all connected to the one, but we also have autonomy. Anyway, at the end of all this, we do get what we can consider a reward, because if we manage to reconnect through various lifetimes, of course, when we pass on, we go back to the source, and this adds in favor of growing and meeting our destiny of sitting upon our own Godhead. We kind of end up becoming masters of our own universe, you might say, super creative beings. We do actually become godlike in that state. That is the ultimate goal, the ultimate experience. Anyway, so this is kind of the purpose of life. So when we come back, a lot of this goodness will be there in our higher self that we have to try and reconnect. But we'll come back blank, like a new game, a new match in the league. Each game starts at 0-0 when you face a different team. It's not like that. For example, you have Team A versus Team B, and Team A wins 3-0, and in the next match, those 3 goals count towards the next game? No. Well, you've already collected the points, or you've lost the points, and now the new game is your new chance to win or lose or draw. And that's what each lifetime is like. So, the thing is also, you know about diamonds, right? I mean, everybody loves diamonds. Or most people do, because they're beautiful. For some reason, they're very attractive to human beings, just like gold is. Gold is extremely attractive. Now, why do we have this attraction? Because as soul, as energetic beings, we have this connection. And the connection is like this. Gold, and actually more so diamonds, are created through great, intense pressure. Okay? So this is what happens to us as energetic beings, as we can use the term soul, although it's not exactly accurate, but we are more than that. But if we don't go through these extreme, unpleasant, and life is unpleasant, pressures, we can never become diamonds. We are in a coal state. Okay, so coal can actually become diamonds through great pressures, the pressures that crush in the mountain ranges. It creates so much intense pressures that coal turns into a diamond, or many diamonds, and these are the souls. So life, unfortunately, will be full of ups and downs, ups and downs, and different lifetimes can be easier or more difficult because it's trying to turn us into a diamond. Now, we can fail in a lifetime, unfortunately, through committing suicide, and when we come back, it's even more difficult. I have to say this now. Some people say, "Oh, it's not fair because you're out of your mind," but we all have that inner voice. Unfortunately, even when we are at a state of extreme despair, we all have that choice. There is that inner voice. Unfortunately, if we give up, I know it's easy for me to say because I haven't experienced it, but there is a reason why religions and so much doctrine, going way back even in ancient times, is against taking life, because taking life is taking life, whether it's yours or not. You don't have this option, so to speak, of being born. You are given the option to come back, but you don't know as what. So you can't take it away. You have to go through what you have to go through. That is the hard fact. And if you go through so much suffering, through loss, it's for a reason. That's why you experience so much hardship. When someone passes away, you will feel that empathy and the loss of love and the loss of that being. And it's a natural part, unfortunately, of this process. But it's done because we have to become like diamonds. It's the analogy. And the reward at the end will be given to us. It really will. So that is one reason why life is not always pleasant and can be full of intense pain. And we are going to go through that, through the loss of a pet or a loved one, somebody we know, or a situation even when we lose jobs or have an accident or lose part of our bodies or have all kinds of situations. It is for that reason. It's the biggest test, because in the end we have to become like a diamond, and we go through it, we persist, we become a diamond. If you look through systems and doctrines and whatever, even in the military, the toughest soldiers, the special forces, never give up, they say. Never give up. They put their all, and in the end, if they're taken through an action, they're not trying to kill themselves, unless, of course, it's a last-ditch bid to save others, but then it's a selfless sacrifice. They're not being selfish, like they're not trying to end it. They are saying, okay, I have to sacrifice myself for the greater good of everybody else. But that's a different issue. So if you look at it, it's always do your best, never give up. It's for a reason, because once again, this is innate. It's in us. What we have to go through, we have to go through, okay? Even though it's unpleasant. So the grander scheme of life is actually not one life, but the grander scheme of life is into turning us into diamonds through various lifetimes, and we will experience lives on Earth, on other planets, other dimensions, other planes, so to speak. And there are many, many parallel universes. We go through that. When we sleep, we actually get a glimpse. And sometimes there are many phases. Some of it is to help the physical. So we go through a mental dream state where we work through problems. But you also have to realize that there are many dreams that happen every night. We probably have 6 or 7 different types of dreams. Most of them we don't remember. Some of them we do. If we wake up and we are distracted, or immediately an alarm clock is very loud, we wake up with a jolt and immediately we focus to what we have to do, we'll forget. But if we wake up slowly and then try to remember the dream, we'll remember some of them. And some of them are very realistic, and some of them are very unusual. Some we know they're just mental projections, because we have various types. Anyway, one type of dream is the mental type of dream, to deal with problems, where we find solutions to some issue that we're having at work or with a relationship. Some are more spiritual, and will have very, very clear answers to spiritual situations, whether we remember them or not. We get that. And some of them are we actually go and we merge with our other selves in different parallel universes, and we get to live what's going on there. And then when it's time to come back, where the physical that we inhabit now has to get into action, we wake up, and whether we are aware or not, we bring back some of this information subconsciously. It's stored in a subconscious mind, what it can, and the spiritual is around us in our auric sphere. And this is where we get inspiration, and all kinds of things happens. Okay, so when we go into a very negative emotional state, we kind of lock ourselves out of these experiences. Unfortunately, we cocoon, and we're stuck in the mental and emotional. And many people cannot astral travel or do anything when they're like that. So this is where they need guidance. And one of the parts of learning and going through life is to form connections with others and even pets, animals, other human beings, professionals, to help us through these times. That is also something that's very important. Yeah, I'm getting a little bit away from it. Somebody asks me, let's have a look here. I've got some questions here. It's like, do you believe in reincarnation, and what is it all about? Okay, well, I think I've answered that. Now, there are many types of reincarnation through various religious systems. And we go through a kind of reincarnation, but not exactly what's written in Scripture. Like I said, let's say we go through 99,000 lives. It doesn't mean they're all human lives, but 99,000. At the end of this 99,000, we are actually given a score. This is the closest analogy I can give you so you can wrap your head around it. And after we get that score, we go through the next phase. The next phase is either reward or it's not really a punishment, but you get placed where you have to go through it various other incarnations again, or you get a reward where we start to, at that point, when we go through it, understand who we are. We are given that privilege, and we are at you could say the Godhead, this an energetic place where we experience bliss states, and we are a creative force, and we can create our own worlds. As going through that, we can become angelic beings before it, or we can go down. It's kind of difficult to explain, but this is what it's all about. So yes, there is a type of reincarnation and karma, but not exactly like the Scripture says. So for example, if we look at some of the karmic situations, let's say, unfortunately, we are murderers, which is a pretty bad thing. The karmic debt doesn't necessarily get played out immediately in the next life, but it can. Like, you may not be coming back as a human at all. You may be a plant, you may be a cockroach to learn that lesson, and then you're going to get crushed. You're going to experience all that hell of getting crushed, or a miserable life, whatever it may be. But it may not be the next life. It may be much, much later that you have to go through. You're given maybe the option. In the next life, maybe you're given a chance to be reborn as a man, a woman, an animal, whatever, and that can give you a positive karma. And then the life after that, you may have to become that cockroach. Do you understand? And then after you go through that, boom, you'll get elevated because you've paid that karmic debt. And the life after that, which was good, then you'll get the reward. So I hope I'm explaining it. It is very difficult because in the spiritual, nothing is mental, but we have to talk about it. And when we talk about it, it loses a lot of the cohesion meaning. It becomes meaningless. But these are my spiritual experiences, and I've had quite a few. Should we be afraid of death? No, we shouldn't be afraid of a natural death. But of course, if we have an accident at the moment, we can be very, very terrified because it's probably going to be quite painful unless it's quick. But the act of dying and aging, no. We go through, which is part of the other question, and the question says, if we're given different lives and we're given an age, what is the point of getting old? Because each experience we have is not as wonderful as when we are younger. Well, okay, there are phases to life, right? So when you're beginning, you're born and you're a child, everything has more of a wonderment because everything is a first time. And then that's phase one, right? The phase two is in your teenage years up until your 50s, where you're gaining all these experiences and you can do many things many times. Nothing is so new, so to speak, but it can be. Because you become a creative force that you can create new experiences. Okay, it may not be exactly as wonderment as when you're a little kid, but you will. And when you get old, from the 50s until the end of your life, you're supposed to be more in a sharing experience phase, where you're sharing experiences to give the younger children that wonderment. And through that, you can experience wonderment through their eyes. But at the same time, because you've had all that experiences, you can actually, unless you're lazy, unless you're just a very boring, uncreative individual, you can create a lot of new things yourself. And it doesn't mean just physical. It can be mental, emotional, new experiences for others. When you tell a story, for example, of your experiences to someone that meets you, you are sharing wonderment with them. You're giving them that. And when you see their reaction, and they're listening attentively and they're giving you great feedback, you're also enjoying that, and that is a similar sense. So these are the stages in life, and then when it's your time to go, boom, like I said, through the things that you're doing, whatever, you get your energetic score, which is like a soccer game. Did you win? Did you draw? Or did you lose? So if you're just doing nasty things to hurt people, you've lost. Now everybody is going to go through phases. Nobody can be good every day to everybody. There are people we like, people we dislike, people we feel nothing for, people we feel a lot for. But we have to realize when we're becoming cruel to stop that. We don't have to like everybody, but we can just live and let live, right? And that is the hard thing for us to do as well. So that's a trial. All right, anyway, the afterlife is real. We are energetic beings, so we are not something that ends. And who we are today in your given name is not who we really are. And upon death, we can... here's the other interesting thing. People ask me, if there's all this reincarnation and life or whatever, then how come some people say they experience their ancestors and all this kind of things, but if they're being reincarnated, how is that possible? Well, this has to do with the timeline, and the timeline relates to the physical, but when you're in a spiritual, there is no timeline. So this is where the weirdness comes in. How am I going to explain that? Well, you're eternal when you go into the spiritual, but when you're dealing with the physical realms and the astral, the lower realms, there is a so-called made-up timeline. So let's say 1 second in the upper realms is equivalent to 1,000 years. So in your lifetime, when you live on Earth, maybe you live a maximum of 100. So yes, when you pass away, you're going to meet that ancestor that has passed away. That energy of that ancestor is still going to meet you. And if that ancestor has gone up to the higher realms, and then has to come back, let's say in 5 seconds, that's the equivalent of 5,000 years. Does that make sense? It's very difficult for me to explain. So yes, you can experience these ancestors because they're there. Also, the higher up they are in their growth as spiritual beings, the more control they have to decide to come back and help you. But there will always be that ancestral link with your ancestors and going way back in the beginning. Okay? All right, I'm going to leave that there because I don't want to confuse you too much. But my main message is, yes, there's an afterlife. There's a purpose why life is struggling. There's a purpose why everything is temporary, because we have to go through this wheel of many incarnations to become creative, energetic beings, to produce more of this experience and energy that in the end will put us at, give us as a reward our own God. We own, and we become our own gods, so to speak, but not in this lifetime or any lifetime. This is in the spiritual realms. And this creative energy that we produce also helps the origin, the source, the being, you could say, the origin of it all, to expand, to grow as well. Okay? All right, I'm going to leave it there. You don't have to agree with what I say. Of course, these are my spiritual experiences that I'm sharing. It's just because people have asked, but I'm going to leave it there. Believe what you will. You don't have to believe anything that goes against your own conviction, and don't let anyone shove anything that you disagree with down your throat. I'm not trying to do that. But I will always share my experiences the best I can, and sometimes I'm not too good with it, but I will try through analogies. All right, anyway, I will be releasing a course, a 1-year course, which will be really packed with so much information, practical. It will be like 95% practical, packed in the sense that you can go back to it and keep building and growing. So it's a course that you'll never run out of improvements to your magical and spiritual practice if you want to. And if you only want to do certain aspects, you can. It can So it's a course that will never be like, oh, is that all? There will always be more that you can build upon. So I hope you'll enjoy that. I will be releasing it. I'll give more details of that later on. Sometime in December. I was supposed to release it a lot earlier, but I got so busy and I wanted to add so much value in it, more than anything else that has ever been released before. It's a course that my group has been kind of training under and secretly for the last 20 years. And we've refined it with what has really proven to be fruitful and valuable. And a lot of people now are going through very difficult times. And as you know, I'm also really into helping people up in the northern part of Japan, Fukushima, that were hit hard in 2011. They're still struggling up there. And I want to put all the proceeds into that. And I want to add more. So my group decided, yes, it's okay to release this information, and a lot of people have asked me for more anyway. So I decided, I had my arm twisted, so to speak, and I thought, yeah, okay, it's the right time. 2020 was weird enough that people really need this stuff, and there's a few more odd things going to be happening in the next 4 to 10 years. So I think it's the right time. So keep an eye out for that. Have a great day and great week ahead, and please tune in again. If you haven't subscribed, please do, and I look forward to chatting with you again soon. Cheers.